we're getting close to the end of the show here. It is Ruthless Politics. It's episode number 8. Number 8, folks. Get your dodgeballs and your kickballs out and have a good time. We've got 2 little things that happened this week that we found at least very interesting, not tremendously newsworthy, probably one more than the other. The movie The Hunt. This has been very controversial because this movie by Blumhouse Films, they make a lot of horror movies. They actually make a lot of good material. And by the way, Blumhouse TV was the one who made the Roger Ailes Showtime movie that I raved about. So Blumhouse puts out this movie, The Hunt, and I'll let you talk about where it came from and its idea. But here's the bad news, folks. Much like that Seth Rogen movie, well, I guess they didn't kill that entirely, but you're not going to be able to see The Hunt unless somehow you find it online or some sort of bootleg because they have canceled it. And why did they cancel it? Tell us.
Well, basically what happened is the right wing got upset because the people being hunted in the movie were called Deplorables. So obviously it was a modern day take on what is a very old story. The story that we all read when we were in school, at least the one that I read, was called The Most Dangerous Game, and it was written by Richard Connell. Now, The Most Dangerous Game is a story about people that were rich elite people, and they wanted to hunt the most dangerous game. They wanted to hunt a worthy adversary. And so they captured a person, and then they let him loose on an island, and then they hunted the person. The thing about the story is the person wins. That's the thing. So Trumpies heard that there was a new version of the movie coming out, and it was on the tail of this shooting, so it was already sensitive. And then the Trumpies got furious when they found out that Deplorables were going to be hunted, which I thought was hilarious.
Of course you did.
Yeah, because think of how Deplorables act online every day, and then there's a movie that they're going to be hunted. They're so
people on the left
talk about fucking snowflakes.
People on the
These
left are
fucking
totally
snowflakes.
sensible. Yeah, I
but
know.
So here's the deal.
Sensible.
Here's the deal. So they get the movie canceled, and Universal pulls the plug. Like they're not like it's just going out online. This movie is done. Right. Universal pulled the plug on the movie, and if the movie's true to the real story, then the Deplorables would have won in the end and killed the liberals, and it would be a great movie for Trump. But it's classic. You guys don't read deep enough and then kill it before you even realize it's good for you.
Here's unfortunate, and that is one way of looking at it. Now, to say that only righties are sensitive is pretty ridiculous. We know the left is sensitive, and that's who's controlling
bleeding heart liberals we are.
Yeah, exactly. It's so bleeding heart, as you know. Here's the bottom line. In this climate of those 2 shootings, it's very irresponsible to put commercials out of this because if people are on the brink and people are thinking of killing people, whatever side they're on, and people are mad and all disenchanted and all this other shit, this would be a call to arms for people. Somebody stupid, somebody on drugs, somebody whatever is going to watch this movie and not take it the way you're taking it, and they're going to just be like, well, it's hunting time. So that, unfortunately, is a problem. Remember, a Bernie Sanders supporter went after and shot Steve Scalise, almost killed him at that softball game where he just hunted politicians. By the way, Democrats and Republicans both there.
That's true, and that's
we don't need. Again, I mean, and by the way,
here's the thing, though. We're talking
movies.
about free speech here. This is a movie, people. I hate when people's progressivism rolls over my fucking freedom, dude. That shit pisses me off, and I'm a liberal. And here's the thing, guys. Policy is bad. So if you have a policy that discriminates against women, that discriminates against deplorables, that discriminates against a group of people, that is bad. If you have conversation, if you have media, movies, TV shows that discriminate against people, that's not bad. That's just free speech. So you can make jokes at other people's expenses. You could say boobs on TV. You can talk about killing someone fictitiously. You can do all of that because that is part of free speech. Now, if that turns into actual political policy that keeps you from getting a job, that keeps you from being happy, from succeeding in life, then that's something we can talk about. But the idea that just people saying or acting something out is somehow wrong or something that other people can't handle, that's fucking bullshit. And people need to wake the fuck up and they need to stop being babies about the media they consume.
Well, this free speech thing is it's all coming to an end. This is what the battle is for. I mean, as we've seen with Twitter, I mean, you're not free to say whatever you want. They will freeze your account, whether it's for 24 hours. Facebook does the same thing for you. You can say, you thought you could say what you want, something that's relevant.
You can't say white trash on Facebook. That's a 48-hour ban.
So imagine that. So we're in an era now where we had free speech when it was just speech out of your mouth. That was more likely. Once it goes down on paper, now it became a little different. Once it's in a movie, now it's a little different. And certainly now, in this era of social media where everybody has a platform, everybody has a pulpit, everybody's upset over everything, this powder keg of bullshit on social media, it is not free speech anymore. Proof of that as well, my friend.
Okay.
Let me just say this. Go to Google when you get a chance and look up how free speech is implemented in Europe. Oh, my God, they will come knocking at your fucking door for a Facebook post and put you in jail. Let me just say, they put that guy in jail because he taught his dog to Heil Hitler. It's a joke.
Oh,
He's
well,
not
you're
a real
talking to
Nazi.
somebody who was brought in by the Secret Service over Facebook. So I've had social media in free speech.
So free speech
get
is
me
gone.
get me dragged in.
Right.
But here's the scenario that I think that people need to think about. So this movie may be in, like, let's say, poor taste because you're killing people over politics, which might be distasteful. But now, does that fast forward? What about Vietnam War movies? What about movies that have exposed political stuff? What about movies that have exposed, crimes, or documentaries, let's say? Like, where do you draw the line on this? And that's why all this stuff needs to be protected, and people can't get sensitive over things they don't like. Guess what? It's okay not to like something. Don't go to the movie. Don't support the director in his next movie. Go write an angry Facebook post about it. But what you can't fucking do is shut it down. That's bullshit.
Well, again, and that was always a slippery slope. It was like you heard people say that went to war. I'm not fighting for your right because I believe in what you're saying. I'm fighting for your right for you to say it. So that includes all the negative stuff that we don't like. There are people that don't like pornography. It still exists. There are people that don't like really bad rap music that's very misogynistic or violent. It still exists. And again, it's supposed to be turn the channel, don't listen, whatever. This one, I think, this movie would have came out if those shootings didn't happen. So let's make that very clear. This was a knee-jerk reaction because it looked like a bad move, and nobody needs a lawsuit. I'm sure it had to do with money that somebody says, well, on my manifesto, I saw The Hunt, and that's why I went and shot some Deplorables.
How would you feel if
They
you
don't
were
need
an
that.
investor in that movie? And
You're
then
fucked.
Universal pulls the plug.
You lost money.
You lost a lot of money.
You lost a lot of money. Now, I will say, based on the stars of that movie and the lack of CGI, that it probably didn't cost too much. But I'm going to say that $50 million for sure. That movie cost her $40 million.
Movies are expensive to make. You've got stars in the movie.
Absolutely,
They're still getting paid whether it's released or not.
We went over our time. Why don't we save this John McAfee story for next time?
John McAfee. I
Or
love
do- or
the
you wanna-
McAfee story. No, we'll get into it next time.
We can
leave
save
them,
that for next
leave
time.
them with bated breath.
Yeah, John McAfee, very interesting character. He's on the run. He's not on the run. Cryptocurrency guy, knows how to pump and dump cryptocurrency with the best of them. And apparently he has an interesting blueprint. We'll get into this next time for the upcoming civil war and how the country is going to be split with all the guns and where everybody's supposed to go to protect themselves. He had a very little interesting stint on that. We'll go into that next week. Again, you're listening to Ruthless Politics. We got Kid Chronic. We got Treez. Episode number 8. We'll be back again. We're at the Space Coast Podcast Studios, as always.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks for listening.
Or week. It's Tuesday. What am I doing? It's Tuesday.
Yeah, great week.
Have a great week,
weekend.
everyone.
All right.
Said weekend.